Hello everybody and welcome to This Nintendo Life episode 302. My name is MBZ. I'm here, I'm back baby, and you know, I'm a pretty special boy over here. There's some people out there who have to wait for video games, you know. They have to wait to play Hollow Knight Silksong. They have to wait to play Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Not me, not here. So yeah, Nintendo actually announced their lineup for Gamescom, Bally, and it includes...
Metroid's there.
Yeah, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is playable. Also, Hollow Knight Silksong is going to be Switch 2 playable as well. So Microsoft, I know, already announced that Hollow Knight was going to be playable, so my plan was to try and play that at Gamescom. But
so it's playable at both Nintendo's and Microsoft's booth.
Correct, yes. So there's multiple opportunities for the people to play Hollow Knight out there. So I'll be trying to do that. I messaged a friend of the show, Matt Lorigan, who's also going to Gamescom, and was like, right, yeah. So I was like, right, one morning we're waking up early and we're gonna go play Metroid Prime 4. So yeah, I'll see if we can get some podcasting done there as well with the audio log, so that'll be some fun. Yeah. Definitely want to play some stuff at Gamescom this year because it seems like there's some actual good stuff that is.
While you're at Gamescom, I'm going to be traveling with the family down south for a wedding, so yeah, I think I know where I'd rather be. It's a slog getting down south with I'm sure. But, yeah.
You'll get that. And look, one day you'll get to play Hollow Knight Silksong, as will we all. So we just have to pray.
Will that day be this year? Will it be next year?
Yeah. We learned these last 2 weeks that it wasn't at the partner showcase and it wasn't at Indie World, so it's certainly not there. So it'll be somewhere. Who knows? I think people speculating that, you know, because Opening Night Live is at Gamescom and Hollow Knight will be at Gamescom. They're like, well, makes sense maybe to be there. It's a weird spot to put it, but like maybe I don't know. I think there's also rumors of a full fat Nintendo Direct coming in September, which I wouldn't be surprised by. There's got to be. They've got to put a date on Metroid. They've got to put a date on Kirby Air Riders and a bunch of other things as well. So
we don't know a single like first party game that's coming next year, do we?
Yeah, we know a couple actually, but they were announced for Switch 1 before the Switch 2 Direct. So Tomodachi Life and Rhythm Heaven are both coming next year.
Have they been confirmed for Switch 2?
No, but like they will be.
Okay.
Like I think so. I'm pretty like Nintendo are not going to put out Switch 1 games without a Switch 2 version.
They're kind of. I mean, I'm talking about like A, B, or even C tier, like first party Nintendo, because they're kind of those other two are a bit low compared to like we don't know. Anything.
But like. No, I don't know. I do think that you're underestimating Tomodachi Life. Remember, it was the most liked tweet of Nintendo's history, Tomodachi Life. That game, I think we don't realize how many fucking children played it on 3DS and are now adults and have money. And I think that game is going to shock people with how well it does. I'm predicting 10 million selling for Tomodachi Life.
Wow,
I think that will be possible. Yeah, honestly, it's weird, but yes, that game is going to do extremely well. So I think that Rhythm Heaven won't, but you know, I'm glad Rhythm Heaven's happening, and that's the one in our hearts that we're most looking forward to. So,
of course.
yeah. We'll, you know, I'm sure we'll find out about that stuff. But today, Bally, we're talking about other stuff. You want to tell fine folks at home what is happening?
Yes, for the first segment, we're going to be talking about the partner showcase as well as the Indie World that took place. And then for the second segment, we're going to talk about the games that we have been playing.
Exactly, yes. I think last time... right before the episode went live, I was like, there were rumors of a Nintendo Direct circling, and I was like, well, I guarantee you that it will happen the day after we put our episode out, because that's the curse that we live under. Fortunately, it wasn't too bad a curse, because it wasn't a full Nintendo Direct. It was, in fact, a partner showcase. And then the week later, they follow up with an Indie World. So, interesting that they've done this. If you remember last year, they did the same thing, but it was slightly different because they actually smushed them together. And so the Indie World and Partner Showcase were one thing, and I remember it well, obviously, because Balatro was in the Indie World, and I had no idea about the Partner Showcase. So, like, Nintendo, I think these are two separate teams, honestly, doing these things, and, you know, sometimes they align, and they're like, let's smush them together, like they did last time, but this time they decided to do them separately. And if I'm honest, probably should have smushed them together again, you know, like
I will say like 16-20 minutes long, like it was a really
very short
one. And then Partner Showcase was
short.
A bit longer, but not particularly strong, but we can get to that. But yeah, they could have been smushed right into just this hour long thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. That might have been worse.
I guess to get your general thoughts, Mally. I mean, for me, like, I don't know. These to me felt like end of life cycle Nintendo Directs
Yes.
for what is the start of a life cycle of a new console, which is maybe slightly worrying, but also maybe speaks to the lack of availability for Switch 2 dev kits around the place, and how people have not had access, and therefore there were quite a significant number of announcements here that were still for Switch 1 games for both these presentations. So yeah, I think it's a weird place to be in. I think maybe, you know, we'll hit our stride in like May of next year. That's when we'll start seeing more significant announcements and updates coming for Switch 2, but I do think we're going to have a bit of an unfortunately slow rollout, which is frustrating to say the least, because, you know, Nintendo have had a lot better relationships with third parties this time around, and people want to put stuff out on the Switch 2, but they're kind of being denied it because they just don't have the access that they would have had otherwise. So
they're hardly sprinting out the blocks with the day and date third-party games coming to, you know, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch 2 at the same time. Like, if that reality is going to happen, it's not going to start happening until like the end of next year. And even then, games that we already are aware of, like, have they announced Elden Ring for Switch 2?
They did, yeah. They announced
so,
that,
like,
and they announced Final Fantasy VII Remake as well, and neither of those showed up here. So
there's no details of that. People are also speculating about games like Baldur's Gate 3. Like, there's no mention of that. They're like, the kind of game that was in that ilk that is less good, but is similar AAA, would be something like Star Wars Outlaws that was announced for this third-party showcase, partner showcase. It's just, yeah, I thought it was like, regardless of how I feel about the majority of these games, I think it was pretty weak source, apart from the final couple of announcements, which were quite interesting, but also have
Square Enix coming in to save the day,
Square
basically.
Enix saving the day. But yeah, in terms of a partner showcase, like, this is just dotting I's, crossing T's, and not much more, really. A lot of ports, a lot of remakes, and as you say, feels the energy was much more end of Switch 1 life cycle. This doesn't feel like shiny new Switch 2 things, and that's a shame. But as you say, I don't think your average Switch 2 gamer is going to be interested in this direct, and they're waiting for the new Mario, the new Pikmin, the new Animal Crossing, that all three of which might have a chance of being announced next year. So, like, I just think that that's the big source, that we need that first part in Nintendo Direct next few months to get the hype train going, because it's not here.
Yeah, totally. But I do think, you know, it's weird because there are games coming that we know are going to be a big deal on Switch. The aforementioned Metro Prime 4 and, of course, Hollow Knight Silk Song. I mean, both of which I will play on Switch 2. Makes the most sense. That's the platform that, obviously, well, one's exclusive. The other one is not and is going to be on a bunch of places. But, you know, I'm buying it on Switch is the place that I would want to play that most importantly. And then, obviously, Hades 2 is going to come this year to Switch as a console exclusive. So many people will be playing that there as well. So I think those are like 3 Game of the Year contenders, frankly. And, you know, none of them showed up here, but, you know, I don't think it's dire for the state of this year, basically. I think we're fine. It's just, yeah, it would be nice to have some bigger announcements.
No, I'm kind of thinking for like next year, and I know we're all only in August, but yeah, just next year feels quite sparse.
Yeah, at the moment. I'm sure Nintendo will have a lot up their sleeves, and they will reveal stuff in the coming weeks, months, whatever, but we shall see. Should we dive straight into the most juicy stuff here, Bally? The double header of Square Enix HD2D. HD2D is alive and well, Bally. Like, remember Square Enix recently were saying, we're going to go back and reevaluate the amount of like random titles we're putting out there. And I think to some degree, my worry was, do they consider HD2D as part of that grouping of like stuff that they just throw out into the world? But I don't think so, because I think those games have done significantly better than a lot of these like fucking various Day Life or like these other random, you know, farming, Harvestella, stuff like that, right? Yeah. I think these are actually a bit of a kind of like fan favorite and tend to have a pretty strong audience. So
this was quite farming light for a partner showcase, actually. I was pretty surprised.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. So we have a brand new game and another kind of brand. Well, we can discuss that one. But let's start with The Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tale. Which, okay, context, by the way. I watched this partner showcase in the office with a bunch of people. It was good fun. And I would say that, like, generally speaking, people's vibes was like, yeah, like we're not that interested, but it's fun to watch this and dunk on stuff and things like that. And the peak of that was an HD 2D game, and suddenly I was like, oh, finally some food. And then, I was like, wait for it. What is the fucking stupid ass title going to be here? Because it's going to be dumb as hell. And then this shit comes on screen, and I'm like, yep. So Square Enix, don't change. Never change. Just always just do titles that are too long and people won't remember. And it's great. But the game looks good. Adventures Elliot, The Millennium Tales. There is a demo out there. Neither of us have played it yet. I'm planning to play it this week, and we can talk about it next time.
I saw Ali T playing it the other day when I was on my Switch too. He was having a go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's surprising. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it's kind of Zelda coded, so that makes sense.
Yes.
So there we figured it out. So yeah, this is an action. This is the first action-based HD 2D game, because every previous HD 2D game has either been turn-based RPG or tactical game, right? Because Live Alive is kind of both. It's kind of like turn-based and tactical. Triangle Strategy obviously is a full-on tactics game, and then the Dragon Quest 3 remake is turn-based RPG, and all the Octopath games are turn-based as well.
Yeah.
So a rare action-focused game here, and it looks really cool. I'm very interested in this thing, and I think it's nice to see them stretching their wings and doing something a little bit different, and kind of creating a new IP within the HD 2D realm. What are your thoughts on this, Bally?
Looks very cool. I do want to play that demo. I think that it's an interesting take to go for like the more action-based thing. I wonder how well the 2D HD 2D, sorry, like look holds up when you are in action, and does it feel as smooth as like a kind of more, think of something like, I don't know, like Link to the Past, modern art style, like when it's a bit more 3D and you can kind of see the contact of your sword on the enemy just maybe a little more clear than that kind of art style. I hope they've got that right, and I'm sure the demo will show us like whether that feels good or not. I mean, my immediate thought was like, looks so good. I wish there was more Octopath Traveler though. I was like, I kind of like miss the turn-based strategy thing, but equally I want to try this because the action adventure is different and I like that. And then the double whammy of like, oh, but there is more Octopath Traveler was just like this crazy, like, oh my god, they're announcing 2 games back to back. This is ridiculous.
That was very surprising. I think, this says more than anything that they are invested in HD 2D. There's 4 HD 2D games upcoming that have not yet been released, 2 of which obviously the Dragon Quest 1 and 2 remakes, but now these 2 to add to the list as well. I think we're almost at 10 total HD 2D games if we calculate them all together. So I think it's something they are going to continue investing in. So so this one's interesting. So Octopath Traveler 0, which ostensibly is... So there's a mobile game called Champions of the Continent, right? And I've never been interested in that as a mobile game, blah, blah, blah. People seem to kind of like it. I think there's some interest in there from like the narrative side of things. But obviously, as with all mobile games, it's filled with bullshit. And, you can't actually play the video game and enjoy yourself because there's bullshit in the way, as tends to be the case. So I think the idea of taking some of that stuff and translating it into a real video game is interesting. I think I'm a little skeptical still because I'm like, oh, okay, is this mobile game actually any good? Like, what are they doing here? Also slightly different in that you have you don't have a named protagonist, you have a character insert basically. So you name your protagonist, you assign what they look like, all that sort of stuff. I imagine, I don't know if they're going to be mute or not or whatever, but that tends to be the case, silent protagonists. So curious about it. It seems like there's 32 playable characters in it, which includes characters from all previous Octopath games as well as new ones from the mobile game. Does
that make it 4 times longer than any other Octopath game, or is it just really short stories? And do these characters even have stories?
I'm really not sure what the structure of this is going to be, because
they've said quite a lot about this game apart from the structure basically, which is quite frustrating.
It's weird because like if you're bringing back characters from the previous games, those characters have already told their stories, right? Those stories are done. Like, unless you are tying this in some other way and making it, continue those and like adding more to it, I feel like I just don't really know. I have no idea what this is. I need to see and understand a lot more about it. I will say I am actually more excited for Elliot out of these two, just because I'm skeptical about the mobile stuff for Octopath Traveler 0. And
I think I would have been more reassured if this was just Octopath Traveler 3, and they said,
of course, yeah,
here are 8 more characters, and maybe that game does link to the other 16 characters we've seen in the other two games. That would be more reassuring.
Which, to be clear, I'm pretty sure that they will be working on Octopath 3. Like, yes. I think there's no doubt about that at this point. So that will probably come in a few years' time, but yeah, maybe this was just like a stopgap. They're like, oh, we could just recycle some stuff from this game that we already have assets for and have a quick title, because it's coming out this year.
Always makes you feel a bit uneasy. Yeah, December 4th, I think, which is feels quite
end
soon.
Of the year.
So like, I think that I would have been more reassured, as I said, if it was Octopath 3. But I need to know more about the structure of this game, and let's reuse mobile game assets does make me feel a little bit queasy, but I need to see more, and I'm looking forward to playing that Adventures of Elliot demo.
Yeah, for sure. So I think those were definitely the most exciting, most interesting announcements here. But there's some other stuff. Bali, is there anything that kind of stood out to you?
Oof. Honestly, not really. I've never played Plants vs. Zombies.
Okay.
Remaking the original game, right?
Did you ever watch Nintendo Capri Sun play Plants vs. Zombies?
I did watch a bit of NCS playing. That's my only relationship really to that game.
So I played a bunch of Plants vs. Zombies 2, which was free to play on mobile. I played it on my mum's iPad like 10 years ago or something, 12 years ago. We were on a holiday in like Spain or something, and I think it had just come out, and I was like, oh yeah, because I had just been watching NCS play Plants vs. Zombies the original, and so I was like, oh shit, I understand this game. I could jump into the second one, and it was free to play, so I was like, oh yeah, let's do this. And obviously, being a free to play game was filled with bullshit, and so I kind of bounced off it after a while, because I was like, well, I have to grind for this nonsense, and this level's too hard, so I'd have to pay money to get past it, all that sort of stupid mobile shit. So I eventually, I played a good amount, but never really got too far in it. But the original is one that I've never played personally, but I know it's very, very good, and I really have enjoyed what I've seen of it, and I've watched a lot of NCS play that game. So I think this is nice that they're putting it out again. It feels like it's been a very long time, and I'm kind of surprised it hasn't had like an HD version up until this point. It's kind of shocking. So it's cool that it's getting an update. More people can play it, and perfect for handheld, like absolutely perfect. So I think that'd be great. Cool. I'm glad that we're getting Persona 3 Reload on Switch 2, because I think that is definitely one that people were waiting for and wanting. I think also signals that Metaphor will be on the way, I hope, because both those games kind of like similar engine, and I think...
Another good example, like, why is that not now? Like Metaphor came out second half of last year. We're now...
It was October, I want to say.
We're into the second half of the following year, and... does just feel a little bit like a slightly missed open goal from Nintendo in terms of getting that out a bit sooner.
I think they probably want to pace it out a little bit, and because Persona 3 Reload came out earlier last year, I think that's the one to do. Also, Persona, to be frank, is a much bigger fan base, and I would say because 5 and 3 and 4 already exist on Switch now, they have an inbuilt audience there, so it makes more sense to get people back on the Persona train, and then, drop Metaphor a little bit later on, probably next year, I would imagine. And the other thing to keep in mind is that Atlus tend to do this thing with their games where they have Persona 5, but then they do Persona 5 Royal, which is like, okay, a couple of years later, here's the more updated version, we've added a dungeon, we've added a character, it's another 20 hours of story, blah, 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 and then we'll sell it to you again. And I think there is a possibility that Metaphor, they would want to hold it for, like, Metaphor Fantasio that comes out on Switch 2 instead, so I think that's something to keep in mind going forward. But I'm glad that that's coming. I actually played like maybe 30 hours of this on PC Game Pass, and I just had a look, and it's leaving there in like 5 days. So what I did was I went and found like a file save transfer thing where I can basically get my save file from that version, and then when I eventually, if I want to play it again, I can buy it on Steam, and I can just drop that save file into Steam, and I can pick up where I left off. So anyway, I've prepared myself to have a save file transfer over, so I probably wouldn't pick it up on Switch just because I already have invested a bunch of time into it on PC already. So but yeah, good. Glad that it's there. I think that's a good one. Yeah, we're going to talk about Ninja Gaiden after the break, but Shinobi is one that I'm very interested in for sure. I think that game looks fucking fantastic. Just is from the team that made Streets of Rage 4, so the art style is expected to be good, but oh my god.
You know the game feel is going to be there, the sound design, that kind of
yes.
thing. Like it's going to be good.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is a demo out there for that now as well, which I have not tried yet. I would like to, because I think one of the reasons that I was convinced to buy Ninja Gaiden straight away was I played the demo for that, and I was like, "Yep, this is perfect. This is what I want." So I'll be playing this. So I would like to do that for Shinobi as well and see where we're at. But I have pretty high confidence in this. I think it's going to be great. So yeah, glad that that's getting a bit more spotlight here. Talking about ones that got a pop in the office as we were watching. Not a pop for the good ways, but a pop for like, what the fuck are you doing,
pop.
Nintendo? Can we talk about chilling by the fire and what the fuck this is and why the fuck this is in the Nintendo Direct? Like, I don't know, man. It's like, sometimes I'm like,
I think it's in there because it's got, you can play with a friend and they don't have to have a copy of the game, and it's got the camera functionality, and they want to showcase that, and that's the reason this is
you are 100% correct. Yeah. It's because it uses the fucking Twitch 2 camera, and Nintendo are nothing if not. They're predictable in the sense that they will show off video games just because they use a weird feature of the system that no one else is using. And so if they want to present this as like, look at the variety of partners and what our partners are doing with the Switch 2. Can you imagine what you, potential partner, could do with the Switch 2? Yes, you could use the camera, yes, that we have included as a thing people could buy for this, that everyone is enjoying. Yes, we love it. Anyway, yeah, this was a lot of bafflement in the room when this came up. Everyone was like, what the? This looks like, it looks visually very bad as well, like a very basic low poly kind of aesthetic, and I don't know, it's I'm sure it's a fun thing to do with friends. I've seen some people playing it and talking about it, but yeah, it's just a weird choice, a very strange choice to put in a partner direct of all things. So
I think it was, did I listen to like, was it RFN? Someone talked about it, but like it's from Oink Games, and they kind of have a background in making kind of party style games and things. So it's that kind of ethos of like working things out together. Like I think the gameplay is actually strong. I saw an NWR review for this game, and it got like, I think it got 8.5 or something. Like
right,
they were quite impressed by the mechanics of like actually making the fire and this kind of thing.
Building the fire. As someone who has tried to get barbecue going tonight, it's quite difficult to get it going. So I do respect that. That makes sense. But yeah, that was I don't know, interesting to say the least.
Yeah.
And then the other one. So Yakuza Kiwami 2 is coming, so Bally, get ready for our next top 50 to include Kiwami 2, so that's good.
Okay.
We'll be adding that to the list. As they keep getting added, of course, every Yakuza will be added to our top 50, as we all know, so that'll be fantastic. They all belong there. Apex Legends is an interesting one. So Apex Legends on Switch 1, I mean, it existed. Was it playable? I would say barely. I did try it back then, but I saw that John from Good Vibes Gaming put up a video about Apex Legends on Switch 2, and I was like, holy shit, it looks really good, actually. Like, this is a legitimate, great handheld version, and I went to go download it, and it said, this is going to be 78 gigabytes, please, and I was like, well, I don't have that space, because, my Switch is filled up with stuff from Switch 1 and a bunch of things, so, I don't know, I'm starting to feel that third-party games in the Switch 2 era, we're going to have high file sizes, and we need these memory cards to get cheaper and more available soon, because otherwise...
I think Nintendo really screwed themselves on this a bit in terms of third-party support, because...
Yes.
Either they give these third parties the keys to how on earth Nintendo managed to get their games down to 8 gigabytes and teach these other third parties how to do it, or they should have gone for like standard micro SD cards, not the like super fast ones that like they you can't get a high storage version of the super fast ones yet, and like I feel like Nintendo's third party support is so limited by that fact, and it just feels like this is really badly thought through, because regardless of your internet speed, you don't want to be carrying around 78 gigs of Apex Legends unless you're a mono gamer and that's your game, that's all you're going to play, and you're hardly going to be a mono gamer for Apex Legends if you're on the Switch 2. That's not the place to do it. So like it just feels bizarre.
It is strange, but I would like to fridge clean at some point and download that and check it out, because I don't know. I would play Apex Legends handheld. Like that seems fun to do, especially because it runs at 60 now and like looks actually quite good. So, yeah, I think I don't know, stuff like that is nice at least because it does give me, it renews my confidence in like the power of Switch 2 at the very least, and it's like, yeah, okay, we can actually play versions of games on here that are not compromised anymore. I'm actually looking forward to when they update Overwatch 2 to be like good on Switch 2 because yeah. I like that exists, but it's just not a great version to play compared to the others. So I'm sure it will be at some point. A few other things I just wanted to mention. Monster Hunter Stories 3 is cool to see another one of those. I have not played either of the first two games. They are basically more traditional RPGs in the Monster Hunter vein, but the first one was on 3DS, and they remade it for Switch. So I think both of those are on original Switch, and I would like to check them out at some point. And then Final Fantasy Tactics, I would like to get back into and try, because I tried it on PSP version, War of the Lions, and I couldn't really get into it, so hopefully the new quality of life stuff will help with that. And then this one's a weird one. But the Pac-Man World, I believe that I played that at Murray's house back in the day, and so when this,
I thought you owned it.
No, I never owned it. No, I'm pretty sure Murray had Pac-Man World 1, and so I remember playing that at his house, but I don't think I ever played 2. It was
great at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I thought it was like, oh wow, look at this fucking Pac-Man guy running around the world. This looks alright, actually. I think Pac-Man World 1 repack is already available on Switch, so this is just the second one now being remade, and that's cool. I don't know, I think they're not very good games, but they're kind of, I have weird nostalgia for them even though I didn't own them, just because I played them when I was younger. So yeah, maybe one day on a super deep discount I'll pick up one of these Pac-Man World games.
I'm worried your nostalgic memories will be turned into dust, to be honest.
Yeah, probably.
We'll
but
see.
you know,
see.
we got to try and see. And yeah, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment got another trailer. We'd have no interest in that, but that was like the only Nintendo first party adjacent announcement, even though it's not being made by them. It's Koei Tecmo, of course. But
Goodnight Universe, that's the makers of Before Your Eyes, so that's cool.
Right, which you still haven't played, right?
I've not played Before Your Eyes yet. No.
Yeah.
I think they announced that for later this year.
Do you think? Okay, now that Switch 2 has that camera, do you think they're going to put Before Your Eyes on Switch 2? Because that'd be a...
Oh yeah, in 2 years when they give them a dev kit, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. I don't know. I just keep trying to figure out like what's the best way for you to play this, because it requires a camera, right? And that's it's a situation that
I think I've got it on my phone. I just need to download it and play it.
Oh, did you go buy it on phone? I think my recommendation though would be to play it on iPad. Basically, that's the best place to play it.
I've got it through Netflix on my phone.
Oh, Netflix. Oh, wait, is that not gone away yet? That's not disappeared.
It might
basically
have.
Netflix,
the app is still on my phone, so I don't know.
Okay, so Netflix got rid of a bunch of games, including Case of Golden Idol and Rise of the Golden Idol, so those aren't on Netflix anymore. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if that is the case for this game as well, though.
Right.
But you might want to check that and see.
Can I buy it by itself as an app on my phone and just do that?
I don't know. You might be able to. But yes, my recommendation would just be don't play it on the phone, play it on the iPad. Bigger screen, basically.
Does that make a big difference?
I think it does, yes. Okay. I think it does. So... yeah, don't play it on the phone. I feel like it's an emotional game. You want to get invested in it. I feel like you're not going to get that through the small phone screen. So, anyway.
The app is appearing in the App Store, but it's got the Netflix N in the top left corner.
Yeah,
so
that means it's not purchasable in that case.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's still on there.
Yeah.
But I would recommend playing it before it disappears, maybe from Netflix forever. So, yeah. Probably a good idea. Okay, cool. So yeah, Partner Showcase was that, and then the week after we had the Indie World Showcase. That was very short, extremely brief, and gave us a few updates on some stuff. And yeah, I don't know. Most of these are known quantities, if I'm honest. Maybe this is just because I just know all these video games because it's just my job and everything. But
to be fair, even I know of like a bunch of these video games, and I'm not as in tune with you, MZ. And honestly, I think when you open an Indie World with a game that has already been shown off and already has a release date, and you close with a sizzle reel, it's not a very good Indie World. It's just like, if you can't even get new announcements at the top and end of the start and finish of your Indie World, like, what are we even doing here? It's kind of how I feel about this one, which is a bit of a shame.
Absolutely.
I just thought it was very weak source. There's some interesting things in here. I don't want to be overly harsh on those games, but fairly run of the mill. Nothing like overly like, wow, I absolutely have to play that day one kind of feeling, which is a shame.
Yeah, it is a shame. I would say, I mean, probably the biggest one from this grouping in terms of like, finally it's there. UFO 50, baby. Like, it's home. This is where it should be. This is where it belongs.
Part of the sizzle reel.
Yeah, for fuck's sake, they put in a sizzle reel, which is just disrespect to the maximum. Yeah, I mean, if you haven't played UFO 50, please go play it. It's absolutely phenomenal. I need to go back and play more of it, because I actually only got like halfway through the games. I haven't even played all the games on UFO 50, and I already put like 25 hours into it. So much in there, so much to dig into. Just like really remarkable level of design. Yeah, I don't know. I'm in a bit of a Derek Hugh phase right now. I'm playing a bunch of Spelunky, which is also wild as a video game, and I'll eventually talk about when I finally get my way through Spelunky. But it'll probably take me many more hours. But it's a very good before bed. He makes very good before bed games. UFO 50, Spelunky, perfect Steam Deck in bed, and now they can be Switch 2 in bed games for you. So yeah, definitely go and pick that up if you had not had access to it before. It is one of the best games of last year for sure. So, and
how many more of the games do you have to play?
Probably 25. Yeah, I think I'm about halfway through. So
nice.
Yeah, I'll go back and I actually did when it got announced. I went and booted it up that evening and played a little bit of some stuff. So yeah, wanna dig back into it for sure. Bally, what stuck out to you?
A game I hadn't heard of. I don't know if this was its first showing. You're probably going to tell me it's not. Is Ball X Pit, Ball Cross Pit.
Yeah, so this was actually announced over the summer because it was Devolver's. Basically, usually Devolver do a presentation at Summer Game Fest. This year, the presentation was just a 15-minute presentation all about this game.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay, so that's giving me even more faith in this game that it's going to be good if it's Devolver.
Yeah, I can tell you it will be good. We assessed this game and played it. And
I know Matt Lorrigan. Matt Lorrigan has it in his Fantasy Critic, and I was like, hot damn, he's onto it.
It's very good. Yeah, it has a demo on Steam as well, and it's overwhelmingly positive, I'm pretty sure. God.
Yeah, I think this game looks like crack cocaine, honestly. Like, it's got like, you are pinging balls in this roguelike, and like, what's the game you just talked about? Nubby's
Number Factory.
It's a similar aspect to that, with, I would argue, a slightly nicer art style.
More Bally centric art style.
Yeah. Like, I'm not really into that genre, and I kind of want to try this game. So I think that speaks to like its appeal. I think it just looks really cool, and I want to play it. I got a release date. I've forgotten what it is now, but it does look cool.
Yeah. It's I think it's coming October or something like that, maybe. I think it'll do very well. I think people are gonna be very into this. It kind of blends that stuff with like city building aspects, so you are kind of building up your own little town as you are going through and mowing down people in this kind of like ball throwing game, which is very chaotic. Nubby is a very good touch point for it, honestly, in terms of the level of chaos and level of shit just popping off on screen. So sure it'll do very, very well. I mean, for me, the one I'm most excited to play is a game that also I played an early build of and was a fan of and was interested in. A game called Undusted, Letters from the Past, which I think was part of the little sizzle reel at the end. This is basically what if Power Wash Simulator was cozy. It's you basically find these little possessions and you are dusting them off. You're using like brushes and cloth and stuff like that, and you're basically just like chipping away at dirt to get rid of it and to clean up objects, and it's tied together with like a very kind of nice visual novel kind of narrative. Very small thing. It's not that fleshed out, but it's good framing for it for what is a very, very satisfying game to play, and likely will only be a few hours long. So I'm very into this thing and have played it a bunch in the past, and want to play it when it comes out. So I'm glad that it's got a Switch version coming. It's really, really nice.
I like the look of Hurdling. I hadn't heard of this game before.
Yeah.
It's the kind of game where if it had been announced on Switch 1, I would really have kind of rolled my eyes and be like, I'm not interested. And that's mainly because it's kind of like a 3D game taking place in what looks like quite an open world or an open space. And I would have just had little to zero faith in it running particularly well on Switch 1. And I would have assumed it would run at 30 and all these things. Whereas there's hope that a game like this might actually run at 60, might run well on Switch 2. I don't know. But yeah, just kind of like you play as this kind of shepherd kind of guy, and you're kind of leading these animals through these vast open worlds, which just looks very chill, got a good vibes. I want to know if it's got any kind of decent story. How do the game mechanics work, or are you literally just walking across open spaces like this? I want to know what are some of the extra hooks that I'm kind of might be missing from this trailer, but it does look very appealing, and it kind of had a bit of ballet energy, I'd argue, this kind of game.
I think so, for sure. It's from the developers who made Far Lone Sales, I think. So that game and its sequel, that game and its sequel did quite well. People seem to like quite a lot. I think those were on Switch at some point also. But yeah, those seems like pedigree developers, so it's probably will be quite good, I imagine. Is This Seat Taken was interesting. This Shadow dropped on the day as well, so this came out. This is one that has been around the indie scene for a while. A lot of people are talking about it. It's a puzzle game that seemed pretty neat and did quite well in Next Fest as well, so I think a lot of people are interested in that. I've not checked it out myself, but really like the art style. I think it's a very, very nice looking game, and very, I don't know, tangible. You move these little guys around and basically decide where they should sit, placement-based kind of puzzles, which is very neat and interesting, and not really quite anything else that I've seen, so it's very, very cool. Any others, Bally, for you?
Mina the Hollower, as boring as this update was, is still looking very good. I noticed Matt Lorgan...
The demo's out on Switch too as well, isn't it?
Yes, and I noticed Matt Lorgan post that like you can kind of zoom in and zoom out depending on your preference as to like how close you want to be in, and that was definitely something I was a little bit concerned about. It looks very overwhelming when it's like quite zoomed in, but I think I will probably prefer to play a game like that a bit more zoomed out, and
I think so.
Yeah, it's a lot going on. I'm super curious about reviews for this game when it comes out.
Same.
It's one of those games where if it scores really well on the day, I'll probably try and put things aside and try and start playing it, but if it's kind of a bit more middling, I'll probably wait a while to play it. But I'm super interested if they can stick the landing, because I think it has the potential to be a very, very, very special game. Like, it does look quite cool.
I mean, it's, following up Shovel Knight is no mean feat, right? And this is taking a long time to come through, so I should play the demo, because the only demo I played was a very early one. I think it was like the original kind of backer Patreon demo that was...
Is there a Steam demo?
Yes, there's a Switch 2 demo, and I believe there's a Steam demo as well, so I think you can play it on either. I'll probably check it out on Switch 2, because this is probably where I would play it as well. I think that's what makes sense, so... Yeah. Also, apparently it runs at 120 frames per second on Switch 2. So get some use there out of that, which is great. And then a couple of other ones. Neverway is very, very cool looking game. It's from one of the pixel artists who worked on Celeste, and has a very cool kind of like dark energy to it. It's like, it is a kind of farming game, but also it's like a action game as well. Very, very cool. This was announced at the III showcase earlier this year, and is doing very, very well. People are very into it, so curious to see how that comes out. Ultimate Sheep Raccoon is the sequel to Ultimate Chicken Horse, which I watched Giant Bomb play a ton of back in the day, and is a very fun kind of multiplayer chaos simulator with just lots of fun stuff going on. And it's also cool to see content warning being announced for Switch. Like these Lethal Company likes, these kind of like co-op horror, very low impact kind of streamer bait games, you would call them. People call them friend slop at the moment, which is a whole discourse that's going on. Content warning. Content warning is one of the better ones. It's one that I think a lot of people like, and it's, I think, the only one that is going to be on console, because Lethal Company's not on console yet. Peak obviously only just came out. I imagine Peak will make its way to console, but this I think this has good chances of taking over the Switch charts for a bit, because I think there's a lot of people who only own console, who don't own PC, who would like to play these type of games, but they can't. So, hopefully, I don't know if it has cross-platform play or not, but that would be nice if it does. And then the last one I think is interesting to talk about is Caves of Cud, which is a very interesting game that is extremely hardcore and similar to Dwarf Fortress in that it's like you need to, I don't know, like you need to take an entire college course to understand what to do. It's one of those games, but like I watched all of so Danny O'Dwyer on NoClip did a recent documentary on Dwarf Fortress, which I'd strongly recommend. Very, very interesting looking at that game. A game that has like a fascinating development story and one of the most ambitious and also like incomprehensible games of all time. So yeah, definitely watch that. But also, I would say Caves of Qud is its cousin in many ways. It's like a very similar approach of kind of very systems driven but hard to get into and understand, and it's cool that Nintendo are willing to put a game so esoteric as that onto their presentation. So cool to see it get the spotlight. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for everything. Like I said, I think pretty low-key, generally speaking, here. I am hoping that we'll get a big boy, full-fat Nintendo Direct in September. Also, Hades 2 will be going to be playable at Gamescom as well on Switch 2. So seems like that build is up and running, and they're just waiting to get it fully finalized, and then they'll put it on there. But I don't know. I do think that our three big boys, Metroid and Hollow Knight and Hades 2, are going to be part of that September Direct, is my guess. And we'll learn
Makes sense.
when they're coming out.
You think September, not earlier or later?
I think Nintendo are going to wait until Gamescom's over, because we're now early
Yes.
August, and you know they've got to do their Gamescom stuff, and once that's through, then they can put some release dates out there for the rest of the year, and hopefully tease something for next year. Maybe we'll see.
Very good.
But yeah, that is going to do us for this segment. We'll be back right after the break with what we've been playing. See you in a bit. All right, everybody, welcome back to the second part of today's show. It's time to do what we've been playing, which is usually up front, but you know, in hours of hey, we've got a presentation to talk about, we usually put those at the start because we know what you sickos want.
You just
you
want
disgusting.
the news.
Yeah, you just want to hear. You want to hear reactions. You want to hear people be like, "Ooh, they did an Octopath Traveler. Ooh, Ballad. I want to hear Ballad's reaction to Octopath." There you go. We got it. Gave it to you. All right. Happy now? Okay. Now we can move on with the real meat of the show, which is video games.
A couple of new games though, and what we've been playing.
We do. It's actually it's been a decent little time for some games out there. I think, you know, maybe as a bit of a follow-on from our woes about, hey, there's no developers with Switch 2 dev kits, this is a great example of one where I was planning on buying it for Switch until I found out there's no Switch 2 version, and also the Switch 1 version is capped at 30 frames a second. So Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, a game that was, I think, announced at the Game Awards last year, a surprise announced. This is a collaboration between Blasphemous Team, the Game Kitchen, and who's Ninja Gaiden? Is Ninja Gaiden Konami? I think maybe. Anyway,
you're asking the wrong person over here.
Yeah, I want to say Ninja Gaiden is Konami. Let's do everyone's favorite thing. Listen to a man Google something on a podcast. I think no, it's Tecmo. It's a Tecmo game. It's Tecmo Koei. That makes more sense. Yeah. Yes. So yeah, they basically were like, hey, Game Kitchen, you make cool pixel art games that look good. How about you go back and make a classic-looking Ninja Gaiden? And
it's the first one since like the early 90s?
Yes. I would say in terms of 2D game anyway, right? Because there was the there's a significant, basically in the 360 era, there were a bunch of Ninja Gaiden games that came to that platform, and those were 3D action games, right? So there were three, I want to say. There was Ninja Gaiden 1, 2, and 3, and then they did Ninja Gaiden Black, which was a remake of that one, and then Black 2 came out recently, which was announced earlier this year in the Xbox presentation. And then they haven't done, I think maybe they did do Black 3 at some point, but anyway. There's lots of different versions of those 3D Ninja Gaiden games, and obviously we have Ninja Gaiden 4 that's coming out later this year, but this is the 2D game, obviously, in the lineage of the classic Ninja Gaiden games. And yes, as I said, I ended up playing it on Steam instead because it is capped at 30 frames per second on Switch 1. And there's no Switch 2 patch. There's nothing for it.
Were you PC rather than Steam Deck?
Yeah, I was actually, yes. Because weirdly, it doesn't run amazing on... Like, I was playing one of the secret special ops levels on Steam Deck a couple of nights ago, and I was like, oh, this frame rate doesn't seem like 100% smooth, so maybe there's some weird stuff going on and it's not fully optimized. Maybe it's not just the fault of the Switch 1 being underpowered. Maybe it's more on their end of like making it run well, because yeah, I mean, a game like this is a pixel art game. This should be running at 60 frames a second flawlessly on the original Switch, but anyway, so that led to me playing it mostly on PC. So I played a demo for this back over Steam Next Fest a few months ago, and it was one of those demos where I was like, pretty much immediately, like, yeah, this game has the sauce. Like, there is something to picking up a game and moving and just knowing within 3 seconds, okay, these guys know what they're doing, right? Like, Metroid Dread is the perfect example of a game where I was like, 5 seconds into playing Metroid Dread, I was like, yup, this is going to be one of the best games I've played. Yup, you just know, just the feel of it and the movement and the animation, it's just perfect. But I think...
Is that movement stronger than, something like we both played Cyber Shadow, for example,
right.
Or
yes.
You've played The Messenger, both inspired by Ninja Gaiden? Is the movement just snappier than those games?
100%, and I think, Bally, this is... Like, Cyber Shadow is a really good game to bring up, because I think that you could have expected a Ninja Gaiden reboot to go in the direction of a Cyber Shadow, which is to say brutally punishing and archaic in terms of its design.
I was going to say, is this game easier than Cyber Shadow?
Oh, 100%, yeah, much. And not to say it's easy.
Oh, interesting, because Jacob Geller was saying how hard this game was, so I assumed it might be harder than Cyber Shadow, but I guess Cyber Shadow is insanely hard, actually.
I would say, okay, I would say this game is difficult. I would say Cyber Shadow is unfair, right? And I'd say that's the difference there, in that, like, I think Cyber Shadow is a cool game. I'm glad I played it, but I think it was way too frustrating in its checkpointing, and it's like its checkpointing was okay, actually, but it's just like some of the like bullshit get knockback stuff and things like that that's just really frustrating and annoying. And Ninja Gaiden Ragebound doesn't have any of that. It is, you have endless lives, and it's well checkpointed, and you still have the thing, if you fall in a hole, you die, you restart, but it's never too bad, and you have a good amount of stuff to get through, and the game just feels so good that I didn't really mind dying, because I'm like, okay, there's more things to kill, right? More running through and slicing things in half. I think, Bally, we should have, at the end of this year, we should have some categories for Game of the Year. We should have Movie Boy Game of the Year, we should have Thinky Boy Game of the Year, and we should have what's the other one? Loopy Boy. Loopy Boy Game of the Year. I think we should have that, because for me right now, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, front runner for Movie Boy Game of the Year. Holy shit. Just the feel of just the snappiness of jumping and attacking. It is one of those games, right? Well, because it's interesting that they got the Game Kitchen to do this, because obviously they've made Metroidvanias in the past. And I feel like these days we see so many more Metroidvanias. If it's a 2D action game, it's more than likely a Metroidvania than anything else. And that's great. I love Metroidvanias. My favorite genre. I'll play a million of them, never get bored. Okay, that's cool. But we don't get traditional, just level-based 2D action games, right? And
Cyber Shadow was unusually at the time.
Exactly, yes, yeah. And the first half of The Messenger is as well, until it becomes a Metroidvania halfway through. But this is just a straightforward you're running, you're slicing things, and it's very simple, right? Like, I would say the complexity here doesn't come from your own moveset and what you're doing, but more so from just the enemy patterns and coming at you and, like, reaction time, right? Like,
almost like a Contra.
yes, yeah, very much so. There's big Contra energy here, to the point where there are levels, Bally, where you're, like, on a motorcycle riding and shooting things, and, like, there's one where you're basically doing wave race because you're, like, on a jet ski on the water and, like, shooting stuff. It's awesome. So they break up the regular levels with stuff like that pretty frequently, and I just think it's a blast to play. It's so much fun and so smooth and just seamless. I think you would really enjoy this, honestly, and I definitely think it's one that you should check out because it's just such a easy to pick up and play game, and the music is fantastic and it looks gorgeous. Like, the level of pixel art these guys are on is just fucking another level. Like, they really have nailed it. But it has a lot of, like, I would say, like, there's complexity to it in some ways, right? So you have your sword slash, which is your regular attack. You then have this thing that's like a mid-air parry. I would almost compare it to, like, Cuphead's thing, where, you know, in Cuphead you basically bounce on, like, the pink things to get your meter boosted up. So it's a jump based thing, so you can bounce on objects, you can bounce on enemies, and that doesn't build anything up necessarily, but it is a way of moving through the environment and getting through obstacles. So there'll be, like, a section where there's these spike enemies moving up and down, and to get across you have to parry the enemy to jump over it. It's basically a double jump, but it only works when you hit an enemy or an object or something like that. So that's very satisfying to do. And there are some you do have, like, a little bit of customization where you have these, like, emblems or whatever you can attach to your character, and some of them are based around that parry. So if you, like, do 3 parries in a row, then you'll build up your charge attack or whatever, right? So that's one element to it. The other element is the hypercharge, which is an attack that kills tougher enemies in, like, one hit, basically. So okay, so the way that it works is that every enemy dies in one hit. Most of them do anyway, except for there'll be some big, you know, brawly guys. There's, like, this big demon guy. He has a giant club, and he would take, like, 6 attacks to kill usually. And, you know, that's going to slow you down. It's going to kind of break your pace. So what happens is an enemy will fly in, and it will be glowing with, like, this kind of aura. And if you kill that enemy with the right attack, then you absorb that and you get a hypercharge, which is basically a super strong move that will do loads of damage. And if you have those in boss fights, they'll just do a big chunk of health on the health bar, basically. So it's really cool because it's almost like a puzzle game where if you see a big enemy, you know that the game will provide you a smaller enemy to kill to get a charge to then use that charge on the big enemy. So you're playing the game of, like, there's a big enemy, where's my small enemy to get the charge from? There it is, I'm going to get it and kill it.
And that's not called a Ragebound. That's something different.
No, the Ragebound is, like, your special, basically. It's like your ultra move. And that's hot swappable as well. So, like, the one you start with is actually the one I just use for the whole game because it's super powerful. It's basically just like a super move that just, like, destroys bosses. It does, like, I don't know, like a third or a quarter of their health bar, so it does, like, loads of damage. So that one I kept. There's another one you can do that's a healing area, so you drop it down and it's just an area that heals you. So if you are losing health, then you can do that one. But I honestly felt that it was better to go all out in attack mode and do that one instead, because it was just far more useful. But that's what a Ragebound is. Ragebound is, like, the mega move that you do. So the interesting thing about the hypercharge is that at the beginning of the game, you're just playing as the main character. I think his name is Kenji. He's trained under Ryu, who Ryu's kind of the main character of the series, right? So you're playing as him, and then you do your first couple of levels, and then you get to the third level. And third level, you're playing as a different character, and you're suddenly playing as this lady ninja from the Black Spider clan, and she's called Kumori, and she has the ability to throw shuriken. So her attacks, instead of the sword, are, you know, ranged-based shurikens, and so you're throwing those out, and you can do them in every direction, so up, down, left, right. And so she is really good for, like, staying back and, like, attacking enemies, basically. And so I was like, oh shit, are we going to be able to, like, switch between the characters? They're all going to have their own different levels. And then, like, quite early on, you get to a point where there's a boss fight and you do it, and then after it's done, she basically absorbs into you, and so you basically take on her powers. So you can do your regular slices, but then if you press another button, you can do her shurikens as well. So you have a ranged option, and so you can use that to kill enemies that are far away or, across a platform. And that uses a different meter. So you've got 2 meters at the top of your screen. One is your health, which is blue, and the other one is a pink meter. And that pink meter is her energy, basically, and it takes up her energy to use her attacks. So if you want to use her shuriken range stuff, it takes her energy up, and you get that energy back from using your regular attacks, basically. So it's balance of like, oh, I want to use up these, ranged ones, but I need to build it up by hitting with my sword charge. So this comes back to the kind of hypercharge move, because some enemies will glow blue and some enemies will glow red, and it took me a while to realize you won't get the hypercharge unless you kill that enemy with the specific color. So you have to kill the blue enemies with the sword and the red enemies with the shuriken, and that's how you will get the charge, basically. So it adds a nice level of complexity. It's not too difficult, but it adds a little bit of on-the-fly thinking of like, okay, I need to kill that enemy with the shuriken, so then I get the charge, so then I can kill the big guy, but the big guy is glowing as well, and he's glowing blue, so I need to kill him with the sword, so then I get another charge that I can then use to kill a second big enemy. So there's there's a level of kind of puzzle game to it, which is quite fun, that I thought was very, very cool. There's also these challenges in the level, so Kumori, basically you go to these, like, I don't know, these weird flesh things, and you press the up button on them, and you transform into her, so you can play as her in these little challenge areas, and those are like platforming challenges, essentially, where you have to quickly get to an area to, find a secret or to unlock something, and her energy disappears over time, so you need to recharge it by finding these blue orbs along the way. And so it's really fun, because you are doing a lot of kind of like moving through enemies and trying to get there quickly so that you can then recharge yourself and keep going. So yeah, I really like those as like little additional wrinkles to the game, and makes it fun to go after the secrets and the extras and stuff like that. There's a lot of collectibles here. You can go after them if you want. You can unlock these kind of secret levels, these secret ops levels. Like I was saying, I was doing one of them on Steam Deck, and it wasn't running great, but you only unlock those by finding scrolls, and those scrolls are hidden throughout the level. So if you wanted to, that's why there's a lot of replayability potentially here, of like going back and finding all of those. There's like another ending and stuff if you wanted to go for it, and I think you only get the true ending if you finish it on hard mode, which, to be honest, I think I probably could do. Like, this game is challenging, but not in a way that feels like bullshit. Like, I think the nice thing about it is, I would say that the bosses in this game strike the absolute perfect balance of what I want from a boss, which is, I go in first time, and I'm just spamming, and I die very quickly, and I'm like, oh god, this is going to be challenging. And then, keep learning, pattern recognition, and none of these have like crazy numbers of attacks. Like, it's maybe like 5 or 6 different ones, and they cycle through them.
What about compared to like Nine Souls and like learning that pattern recognition? It sounds like one of the biggest difference with Nine Souls is you have a very vast move set with Nine Souls.
Correct.
And on top of that, there's like 3 different types of parry and a lot more to think about, but sounds like obviously it's still a lot of pattern recognition.
Yes, significantly easier than Nine Souls, definitely.
Okay,
I would say, just because of the level of attack you have. Like, you can use your sword or your shuriken, and then there are some specials, and obviously the Ragebound move, which you can pop out, but fundamentally, it's a game about dodge rolling and attacking, and that's all you need to worry about, right? It's like jumping, dodge rolling, attacking. That's kind of your main movement, and offensive arsenal is driven by that. And I would say every boss in this game, I think I died between 10 and 12 times, which is like the perfect amount of like, I played it enough to where I learned it and downloaded its moveset, but not so far that like I got annoyed because I had to fight it 30 times, Like,
it's fast retries in there? Is it quite quick? That's good.
You have a checkpoint right before the boss. You can go straight back into it. Super easy, super fluid, like no issues at all. Very satisfying bosses to fight, and when you get them locked down and you finally get there and you use your Ragebound move to like finish them off at the last second, like, super satisfying stuff. And yeah, I think they definitely, you can't really spam them, but you do have to learn, because the windows to attack them are such that you have to recognize the patterns and dodge out the way and not get hit, because you can only take, I would say, maybe 7 or 8 hits per fight, because your health bar is like limited. So, and if you don't have the heal Ragebound, then you're not going to be able to heal mid-fight. There's no healing in here. So it really is a question of learning it and understanding it and executing, and really satisfying to do that. I had a great time. I think all the bosses are super well designed and very, very fun to fight. And yeah, I mean, it's 6 hours long, basically, took me to blast through. Honestly, like, I would replay this. Like, it's just,
Nice.
it is hands on sticks, just like feels good to move, and fundamentally, that's all I'm looking for in a video game, and this is one of the best out there. So,
Do you have any comments on story or music or?
as you know, Bali, I don't pay attention to any 2D game story. So, no, there's some decent writing in there. I think there's some fun back and forth between Kumori and Kenji, because like the Black Spider Clan are the sworn enemies of the ninjas or whatever. So like it's basically like unlikely alliance. They're put together and they're like, oh, we're fused together basically, so we have to deal with each other. So there's a little bit of like, there's very light dialogue text boxes at the start of every level to like set things up, and there's some cutscenes with some really cool like pixel art animations and stuff at the end. So there's some nice flavor in there if you're looking for it. But if you just want to run around and hit things, then this is the fucking game for you, let me tell you. So
sounds very cool. And 6 hours is very appealing to me.
Oh yeah, dude. Like this is you would finish this in 3 nights, because you'd be like 2 hours a night. You'd just be locked in. I think you'd really enjoy it. It's great fun. So strongly recommend Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. And I want to play that Shinobi game as well. I think this is the year of the ninja. We're here for it. We're getting these retro throwbacks, and having seen Shinobi, it seems kind of like the opposite, because it looks like a game with lots of moves in like a fighting game style way of like, you could chain combos together and do crazy stuff. So it feels like almost slightly opposite to what this game is going for with its simplicity.
A more modern art style as well, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's I think the budget is definitely bigger for that, and this is from an indie studio, of course. But yeah, I think both feel distinct and different enough to still stand on their own this year. So very cool that we're getting that. Yeah, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, check it out. It's excellent. But maybe wait until they patch the Switch 2 version before playing it there. So hopefully that will happen sometime in the future. Cool. Bali, there was another game that we both played. And this game, I will say, I would recommend that if you're interested in story games in any way, this game is an hour long. It's very cheap. You can go and play it. I would say if you are interested in any sort of meaningful way, pause the podcast, go play it, and then come back and listen to us. Now, we're not going to go into spoilers, but this is a game that is very exceedingly difficult to talk about without saying at least something. So
you will gain the most from knowing the least. So that's why
exactly.
It's like, go away, play it, and come back. And yeah, as you say, we're not going to spoil anything really, but you will still gain more by not hearing what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I should tell you the name of the video game, because otherwise you're
a good point.
Like, you're
yes.
Where am I
going?
The game is called And Roger. Okay, And Roger. It's on Switch. It's on Steam. It's lots of places. So yeah, go play it and then come back.
This is what you told me, MBZ, and I hadn't listened to any podcasts about it. I have now listened to podcasts about it. Luckily, you informed me before the podcast talked about it.
I basically just said, Bali, just play this game. I didn't want to set anything up for it, because I already knew a little bit about it going in, and so I thought it would be better to not know anything, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, it's called And Roger. Go play it. Now we'll try and talk about it without talking about it, which is very difficult to do. But anyway,
we probably won't spend very long as a result, because just want to. And if everyone has played it and comes back to us and says this was awesome, maybe we could do like a spoiler 15 minutes next time or something. But I thought it was a very cool game. It's kind of like Florence, but Florence I think was nice but quite predictable, I thought, whereas this I think is turned on its head, and stuff happens where you think that something is happening and then something completely different happens, and I was thrown for a loop, and I think that's awesome. And I think the way that it throws you for that loop, and like there's little things here and there that you definitely, I think, are better than me at like analyzing narratives and working out what's going on. Maybe I
Sure.
was slow to it, but even when I read stuff online later, I did think, oh, of course, yes. And yeah, I had got the gist of what this game was trying to tell me, which I was pleased about. And yeah, it's funny because you were like, okay, Valley, are you going to play on Steam Deck? I was like, yes. And you're like, okay, I think you can probably use the touchpad with the mouse. And I was like, why does he care what about the mouse? Like,
Right.
MBZ has never cared about. I was like, yeah,
No.
I guess. And
Yeah.
sure enough, yeah, I was able to use the square trackpad thing and then the right trigger as a mouse.
Okay, how did that work? Did that work okay for you?
Yeah, it was fine. I don't think I
Nice,
would have
okay.
liked doing it frequently for like an action style game, but in this game,
Yeah.
arguably some bits are a bit more actiony, but there's still like a pacing to those mouse clicks where it managed. I won't really say much more about the mouse clicks, but just mouse clicks are important, and just in a similar way to Florence, they just have it's a unique video game way of telling a story, which we always appreciate on the show, and I just think it does an excellent job and doesn't overstay its welcome. Just an hour long, it's 3 acts, and it just kind of made sense, and I thought, wow, this is really strong, really, really good storytelling.
Yeah, and I think part of the interesting surprise of it is like it starts in a way that you wouldn't expect necessarily, and so I think I was a little worried talking to you about it because, you know, we're both scared of certain things, and this game starts in a way that is actually quite unsettling. So
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
I was worried you'd go into this and be like, oh, what the fuck has MBZ told me to play? This thing is gonna mess with me, and it does a little bit of that, but I think it kind of goes in different directions after that, and I think it's tricky because I was a little skeptical about it because I'd heard people be like, ooh, the thing at the beginning here is a little kind of like unsettling, but I think it's what it does with it is very smart, basically, and I think it's so difficult to talk about this game without talking about this game because there's so much of it is the specifics of the narrative and how it unfolds and the surprise of what it actually is. And I will say that I called it pretty much immediately just because I had some context going into it. I knew what it wasn't, and so I was able to deduce quite quickly what it was as a result of that. But I don't think that really impacted my enjoyment. I think I still really thoroughly enjoyed it, and I think it's similar to Florence. I do kind of have it in a similar vein. I definitely liked Florence more than you did, but I think it does a great job with mechanics as storytelling, basically.
Mm-hmm.
There's quite a few moments in this game where the literalization of the story is explored through how the mechanics are presented to you. There's a moment where this won't spoil anything, but it is a specific thing about the game. You are trying to chop a carrot and you can't do it, and then something happens that allows you to do it. And I just thought the way that was done was so artfully expressed and really
Elegant.
had a very elegant in its kind of, you know, mechanization of narrative. Like it's taking something that is a story beat and a thing that a character is going through, and it is able to use the video gameness of the game to express that feeling. And I thought it constantly does stuff like that, basically, right? Like there's a section where you're kind of like drawing lines essentially, and they're very like kind of straight edged lines, and then eventually they become more curved lines, and like the way that journey of the mechanics mirrors what's happening in the story, I just thought was very, very smart, right? And I think the game really understands how to take a thing that you do actively as a player and translate it to something that represents the story being laid out in front of you. So yeah, I thought it was very, very well done. Again, like it's an hour long. It will not take, you know, a lot of your energy or time, but I think it's a very effective story. And yeah, maybe we'll leave it there. I'm not sure what else to say because anything else would be
I
into
agree.
spoiler territory. So
Yeah.
but yes,
very cool.
high recommendation. Definitely check it out, and hopefully we can talk about it a little bit in more detail another time. So
Nice.
there you go. Bali, you have played another video game.
Yes. So earlier this year, you recommended I play the game Spilled, which came out this year, and it's like a very short. Again, I think it's like even shorter than And Roger. I think
Yeah, it's like 45 minutes. I think
45
spelled or
minutes.
something. Yeah.
It's basically just like a very peaceful cleaning up game. You're a little boat and you're cleaning up oil spills and bottles and cans and other things on the sea, on these lakes, and it's very chill. Really nice eco message. And you said to me after I beat that game, like, oh, you should really try Loddlenaut Valley because it's like a 4-hour version of Spilled, really, in many ways. And
Yeah.
I think you are right. It really is very similar. In Loddlenaut, you are a Loddlenaut, I guess, and you're cleaning up this planet.
Yeah, I say Loddle as opposed to Lodel because
Loddle.
But I think it's like axolotl because it's like Loddle basically.
Loddle, got you.
Because they are like underwater axolotls essentially,
Yes.
the creatures that you're taking care of.
Yeah, and you're cleaning up their planet. So you come in on the spaceship and you've got like a home base and you're cleaning up their planet, and you've got different areas that you're trying to clean up. And then once you clean up an area, there's kind of like a whole ecosystem loop thing where you can put your Loddles and kind of encourage life to grow. And yeah, you've got a few different weapons, items that you can use to like clear up stuff. So you've got your regular bubble gun. So this is basically like a Luigi's Mansion style vacuum that is just very satisfying to use. You can swim around in it, and you went to go area by area, and it gradually is gated and unlocks. And I will say the world initially feels very large and is a little bit overwhelming, but then you realize, oh, actually no, this is very doable. You can do this in like 4 or 5 hours, and it's very 100% it.
Yeah, it becomes a lot more traversable at the end as well.
Definitely.
With there's certain like speed ramps you can get to move through the areas.
Yeah.
And obviously you can lay down like regenerate, because one of the challenges of this game is balancing your oxygen meter versus like how long do you spend in an area before going back to base and refilling your oxygen. And you can build oxygen refillers at the further out spot so you don't have to keep going back.
Interestingly, I never did that because
really
at every single spot I found, there were little plants that gave off oxygen bubbles, and you could just go swim back through those. So I was kind of learned the oxygen spots of each area and then return to that. And that would, because then if you discover an oxygen spot at one of these areas you're trying to clear, you can carry a lot of stuff, like, because you're not only just some kind of sucking off all the goop from these areas, you're also like collecting plastics and metals and mechanisms and things.
You're decluttering the ocean with all the garbage that people have put there. Yeah,
they were decluttering, exactly. And then you're going back to your home base, and then there's like specific recycling bins that you're putting them in. And it's very satisfying. And then
it's great.
You gain, so say I put like 10 bottles into the glass bottle bank, for example, it'll produce out like this glass, I can't remember what it's called, like a token basically, and you can use those tokens to then upgrade stuff, and it's just a very satisfying loop. So you start with your bubble gun, you can upgrade the bubble gun to become quite more powerful, which is very useful.
Just starts going really quickly and clearing up stuff.
Then you get a scrap vac, which is basically like it will purify water in front of you. So often with like microplastics, they'll just be floating in the air, and just the satisfaction of getting out this scrap vac and you can like upgrade it as well, and like it just does this huge sucking motion that just cleans the water in front of you, and there's like this satisfying ding. Like there's just really great visual and sound design of like demonstrating how these things are cleaning the area around you. And then there's also what's called a puddle scrubber, which is basically like you're riding a bike that is like scrubbing oil spills off the ocean floor kind of thing. Which is also incredibly satisfying. And that's it. That's what you do. You upgrade, you clean these areas, you create ecosystems that you can then, you find Loddles, and then they follow you back to your base, and then you can put them back onto these different areas. There's a whole ecosystem thing you can do where you raise the Loddles, and I wasn't really here for that. I was just here to do the cleaning.
It's kind of like not a Tamagotchi style thing, but more of it's like a Chow Garden Sonic Adventure type of deal, right?
Yeah, there's definitely that kind of skill tree, as it were, if that's something that appeals to you that didn't appeal to me personally. And I could see that like this game was very much like, well, you can 100% the actual cleaning part, and then you can beat the game and then you can go and do the Loddle stuff, or you can just exit out and meet credits. And I kind of 100%ed all the cleaning and then met credits, which was fine. Yeah, it's just a really simple, clean, satisfying game. Really nice color palette to this game. Like you're deep underwater, but it's not all completely dark and misty and murky. There's like some colorful stuff in there, and like there's some structures and things that you're exploring, and it's a really well designed, neat little game. And it's just the right size. Like it's 4 to 5 hours, and I just binged this game in like 2-3 days. It was very satisfying to just play through quickly. And it's
I think if it was 2 hours longer, it would overstay its welcome. Right, it just kind of gets right up to that point where you're like, oh, I'm kind of done with this, and then it ends and you're like, okay, perfect, it's exactly the amount that I wanted to engage with this and do. And then you feel very satisfied when it's all
and the 3 weapons are almost like 3 short acts, almost like it's just paced really nicely. And would highly recommend. I think this came out 3 years ago, I can't remember now, but
it's something like that.
It's very good. It definitely went under my radar when it came out, and you found this one, MBZ, and it's
I literally found it because it's one of the first games I assessed for my job, but it's one that I had followed obviously since I first met the developers back in like 2021 or whatever, I'm very glad that it got out there in the end, and I think it's overwhelmingly positive on Steam, so people do really enjoy it a lot. So a game that I would very much recommend people check out. Very chill, and I don't know, Bally, it feels like you should be playing Power Wash Simulator at this point. You're very much into these type of games, so
I don't know. I think so. We downloaded it a while back, and Caroline tried it, and she was kind of enjoying it. But this is when it was on Game Pass. I'm not sure if it's there anymore. But I think I tried it for like 2 or 3 minutes, and I wasn't that into it. But maybe I should give it another go at some point.
I wonder if you need a little bit of like packaging, because Power Wash is basically, there's no bones about it. It's like here's the thing, just clean stuff, right? There's no. I mean, there is a little bit of flavor stuff, but it's.
I do like the worlds of both Spilled and Loddlenaut. Like you're right, they're both.
Yeah, there's a bit more context.
Yeah, I like the context. I like the whole like we're recycling, we're doing all these things in different areas, and there's the upgrade tree and all these things. I really enjoyed all that. Yeah. The loop was it's a very loopy game. I love a loopy game.
It is a loopy game.
It's really strong in that sense. So yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I think. In that case, the game I was just talking about in the previous segment that was in the indie world, Undusted, definitely you should check that out when it comes out, because it's going to be one of these. It is a cleaning game, but in the context of a story and in the context of a couple of hours long thing. So I think that probably makes sense why Power Wash wouldn't appeal, because also I spent like 50 hours playing Power Wash. Like it's a game you can.
There's something a bit it's a bit stark. It's a bit corporate.
Yeah.
There's something what I mean. It's a bit too clean.
It doesn't have like a nice art style in an indie fashion that you are always looking for, I think. But I think for me, Power Wash Simulator was a podcast game first and foremost, right? Like I think these games generally are that, because they are such a lock in and do the thing and just listen to something at the same time. Like it doesn't require the same part of your brain. So I think
I've actually reached this point with games, and I've done this with DK. We can do a little quick DK check-in after this, by the way.
Sure.
I've realized that I am listening to podcasts in so many areas of my life, whether it's running or doing the dishes or walking somewhere or anything, that I'm like, right, when there's a game that's more chill, like a DK, like a Loddlenaut, like a Spilled, I like to just take in the soundtrack now, I've decided. Like it's like the one time of day where I'm not tuned into any other news podcast.
You can just focus on one thing, basically.
Yeah, I can just focus. And I agree with you. I could totally listen to a podcast while playing these games. But I just want to be a bit more conscious of like, I do need to give my brain like a rest. I say give my brain a rest and then do something else. but
right, yeah.
I need to give
be more zen about it though.
Be a bit more zen, like embrace the zen of the zen game, as it were.
That makes sense. Do you listen to podcasts while you're working at all?
Yes, but I can't work while I do them. They'll be in like a 5-minute downtime break or something. Like I can't. Yeah. And I'm not usually doing anything that's purely visual, or it's normally like writing news stories, press releases, social media, or
so you have to have your
video
brain
editing.
locked in.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of all yeah, it's
Yeah, I think for me, because I used to be able to listen to a lot more podcasts while I was working, and so it was easier for me to get through stuff. Now I'm so busy, I cannot, there's literally no way I can listen to podcasts when I'm working these days. And so, yeah, I think that's where I kind of get a lot of, we were just talking about this before, but like, I think part of the reason I wanted to play the post game of Bananza and do 100% of it was that like it's a thing I can turn my brain off for and I can listen to a podcast while playing.
Yeah.
I didn't even have my because I've got obviously Switch 2 Pro controller, so I've been playing with headphones in and using that functionality. And my monitor doesn't have audio coming out of it when I play on Switch, so I wasn't even listening to the audio of DK at all. Like I was literally playing it just on the screen. But this is after I finished the game. When I was playing the game, I listened to the whole thing and music and all that stuff.
I love the soundtrack. But yeah.
Post game, I played like 25 hours of post game with just podcasts and not hearing any of the sound effects or noise. And I think that speaks to how satisfying DK is the fact that I could still do that and still be satisfied hoovering up gold, So I think, says quite a bit. But yeah, Bal, you want to do a quick check-in with Donkey Kong Bananza?
So I've got the 4th Bananza. I'm in the 4th Bananza area, and I'm up to about 450 bananas, and I'm still loving it. I'm enjoying. I'm going at a fairly slow pace. We've had visitors, like I was saying before, and I've not played. I'm somewhere between 20 and 25 hours. So yeah, I'm enjoying being fairly thorough. I think I'm getting roughly 80% of bananas, which I'm enjoying. So I'm just going to keep going till the end of the game, and I look forward to beating the game for next time, and hopefully do post game next time. And will I do the craziness of what you've just achieved, MBZ? I'm not so sure, but I'm having a blast still. So I definitely want to check and give full thoughts next time.
Yeah, I should mention I have 1,000 bananas. So.
And how many do you have in DK?
It's a good question. Yeah, no.
That's
I do actually. Look. I like bananas. Okay. I would I eat 1,000 bananas? Have I? It's a good question. Have I eaten 1,000 bananas in my life? Maybe.
I actually hate bananas. Like they're like one of those.
Yeah, Bali doesn't eat bananas.
It's one of these superfoods that, as like a former tennis player and athlete and runner, that I really should be into bananas, and I just hate bananas. I don't mind.
Bananas are just the most convenient fruit for me. They're so easy to eat. That is the fruit I actually eat the most frequently is banana, because it's so easy to open. And
I wouldn't mind like a banana flavored thing, like a banana bread, but the second there's like a little mushy bit of banana in banana bread, that's like a huge turn off for me. Like I can't.
So it's the texture thing more so than anything else.
Mainly the texture, and they do have a very unique texture. It's just like I can't handle it. Yeah,
like if bananas were more like the crispy, crystallized bananas from Bananza, maybe you'd be more into them.
That's
crunchy.
I don't want to spoil, but this very fruity area I did that I thought was so awesome. It was so cool.
Oh yes, yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Very good.
But yeah,
Absolutely.
we can hopefully once I've beaten it, we can maybe have a bit more of a spoilery discussion.
I think we'll probably just do a segment where we just go all in and talk about all the areas and all that stuff. Yeah, I think that'll be a good idea. So yeah, I haven't fully 100%ed the game because I don't have all the records, which is getting those is a whole trial, because I think they're super random in their drops and finding them from enemies and stuff like that. But I basically went around and grinded out all of the gold and all the banana. You need a lot of gold. You need there's multiple moments where you're like, oh, I need 20,000 gold here, and then at the end, one of the things is like, oh, I need 120,000 gold. And I was like, okay, cool, yep, I'll go do that, and I went and did it. So I think I grinded to 5,400 bananium chips at the end, because I needed 54 extra bananas to buy from the banana buying shop as well to hit 1,000. So no, it was great. It was good. I did a lot of grinding, and it was good fun. I had a great time with the post game. Like I said, I was brain off. I was basically going and buying all of the maps for everywhere, so I didn't even have to think about where things were. I was just like, yep, collect gold, buy maps, go get banana, go get fossil. That's my life right now. And it's good. It's relaxing. Very relaxing. Good podcast material. And yeah, I was just saying about, I don't know if I would recommend it to him, because more limited time with stuff. For me, as someone who just wanted to turn my brain off for a couple of hours every night and just listen to podcasts, it was perfect for that. So it was very, very satisfying. And I'm now done with it's been weird. I've had moments like last week where I was like, I kind of want to just play some Bananza, but I don't have anything to do in it anymore.
I just need to smash a crystal banana and shout out bananas.
yeah. I'm just like, oh shit, I've already got everything, so I guess I'm done. Which probably says quite a lot about my feelings about it, because I felt like a bit more mixed on it last time. And I would say, generally speaking, if we're talking about end-to-end campaign, if we're talking about, like, you know, the main story of Odyssey and Bananza, I think Odyssey's better overall. Like, it just is tighter, it's much more varied, and it just has a lot more surprise throughout the whole thing. But I think as a overall package, as a, like, end-to-end, like, creation, I feel like Bananza might edge it, just in terms of just, like...
There's a certain charm about DK that I'm enjoying more than Odyssey. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
There's just something about it that I'm liking a lot. It might be Pauline. Right. It might be like the little rest stops that you find. They've just got...
Yeah.
There's just a level of interesting... I don't know. There's something weirdly vanilla about Odyssey when you step back and compare it to DK. I don't even know quite how to describe it. I need to think about it more.
Sure. Yeah. But yeah, we'll... when Bally is done, we'll talk about the end of that game, because that's a fun thing. It's a fun thing to talk about. So yeah, it'll be very, very good. Yeah, I think that's gonna do us for today's show. Thanks everybody, of course, for listening. Let's get on out of here. Plug some stuff, do some things. You can, of course, find the show in various places such as Spotify, Stitcher. Download us. Review us on there, give us 5 stars, all that good juice. That will help us be found, and recommend it to a friend if you think it's good and you like it. Then that's the best way to get it out there, so that'd be very much appreciated. We of course would like to thank some people who helped to support the show. If you go to patreon.com/ThisNintendoLife, you can get some extra things, bonus episodes, stuff of that persuasion. And Bally would like to thank some of our supporters.
Yes, thank you to all of our patrons. We really appreciate the support you give this show, but a huge shout out to our $10 tier plus patrons. They are Sullivan C, Zach S, Thomas, Matthew, Albert, Wicked Gamer UK, Alan, Orange Thunder, Nintendo Man, and Ali T. Thank you all for your support.
Absolutely, very much appreciated. Yeah, you can listen to all our bonus stuff and Nintendo episodes and things like that, and yeah, some good things happening there. I will have a Gamescom travelogue
exciting
on there at some point. Yes, so it'll be good. Of course, you can find us on the internet. I'm on Blue Sky NBZ. Bally, where can they find you?
I'm on Blue Sky at Ballyman91. That's BALLYMAN91.
And you can find the podcast on Blue Sky as well at TNL Podcast. And yeah, I think that's it. Actually, we should tell people if they have emails to send. We didn't do any emails this week because, of course, the presentation took that up. But Bally, where can people send their emails to?
Please email ThisNintendoLife at gmail.com. That is ThisNintendoLife at gmail.com. We also have a Discord server. We've got a channel. It's called Emails. You can post your questions, your comments in there. And yeah, join the community. Discord's a great place to be. I'm enjoying the amount of chat we're having at the moment.
Yeah, some good stuff in there. So yeah, come say hi. I think that's gonna pretty much be us. We'll be back in a couple of weeks' time. Likely, I'll say the next time's episode will be slightly delayed because I'll be traveling back from Germany, and Bally will be traveling back from his wedding. So yeah, we'll be putting out the episode out a little later. Just a heads up on that, but I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about.
We'll see who's more tired.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll have a lot to discuss, so that'll be a good time. But until then, thank you all so much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.